Let's dive in. I'm Mindy Audlin. It is What If Wednesday, and this is our time to come together once a week for a midweek uplift. So inside of our community at facebook.com/groups/whatifup, you can pop in there anytime throughout the week and say, here's what I'm wanting, or I've got this challenge, or I've got this problem, or I've got this thing that I want. And you post it in there in our community and people can share what ifs. That's what we do. We don't what if down and say, what if you can't? And what if it's hard? We what if up with you and say, well, what if you can? And what if we help you? And what if there's a million ways you can make that happen? And what if you ultimately get to sort of discern from all the ideas that are shared, what is the idea that you want to take on? So I have my list of things that I have harvested from our community this week. So thank you to all of you who've been posting just a really wide range of things that you've been wanting. Everything from the dog lovers and the cat lovers today. I've got, we'll do some what if upping around that, to some really profound, deep, moving requests for support. And so we're going to talk about that as well. Before we do, though, I wanted to share with you something that I found this week. Actually, it's a new study out by the Gallup organization. So you've probably heard of Gallup. They do the Gallup polls and they're always asking people for opinions and what do you think about this and what do you think about that? So we're going to play along, all right? So this is your chance to participate before I tell you what it's all about. Imagine that someone asks you these questions. Actually, you don't have to imagine because I'm actually going to ask you these questions. Okay, so to play along, you need to have your comments available, right? So be ready to type in. I'm going to ask you some questions. And when I ask you the question, type the first thing that comes to mind into the comments. Got it? Okay, first question is, and this is according to a Gallup survey. This is literally the question that Gallup asked they asked it in 52 countries and territories, representing 76% of the world's population, representing 86% of the global gross domestic product. So this was a very wide-ranging survey with open-ended questions. Are you ready? Are you ready to type your answers into the comments? Typing fast? Okay, so here's the question. Question number 1. Type in the first thing that comes to mind. What leader has the most positive influence on your daily life? Type it in the comments. Who is the leader that has the most positive influence in your daily life? Got it? Type it in. Excellent. Okay. Question number 2. Please list 3 words that best describe what this person contributes to your life. You got that? Part 2 of the question is list 3 words that best describe what this person contributes to your life. So do that now. Do it before I give you what Gallup found. I want to know what you think. What do you think? We'll see if our answers match up with what Gallup came up with. All right. So again, this was a Gallup poll. It just got released based on surveys across 52 nations, 76% of the world's population represented by these 52 countries and territories. And the questions they asked, number 1, what leader has the most positive influence on your daily life? Question number 2, list 3 words that best describe what this person contributes to your life. Have you got it? Did you do it? Did you do it? Get her done. Okay. Obviously, this is a very open-ended question. People could have said anything. And what they found is that the responses fell into one of 4 categories. Almost everything that people said would fall into either the category that would be hope, that leader gives me hope, trust, compassion, and number 4 was stability. Those were the 4 that rose to the top. Now, here's the fascinating thing, and the thing that's so important, particularly for us in the What If Up Club and, living the principles of the book, What If It All Goes Right? So what they found of these 4 that rose to the top, the number 1 dominant answer, way above everything else, like 56% of people saying number 1 is hope. If you want to know what people are wanting from you as a leader, as an influencer, as someone that they're looking up to, what they want is for you to be able to inspire in them something to be hopeful for. Now, trust was also important. That got 33% of the responses. Compassion got 7%. Stability got 4%. Hope was way up there at the top of the list. And to me, it's so powerful to recognize this, because it's so often that we're like, hope is so airy fairy, woo woo. Hope is what we need. And we need leaders who can inspire that. And whether you're leading in a corporation, or you're leading a small team, or you're leading your family, or maybe it's just that voice in your head that's trying to lead the rest of you to take action every day, go exercise and eat healthy. There's that voice in your head that is influencing you as well. How good are you at inspiring hope? That's what our community is really all about. When you think about what if it all goes right, that's my book. It's designed to help us get out of that what if it all goes wrong mindset. What people need and want, what inspires them to move forward, is having that voice that can say, this is what it looks like when it all goes right. And if we work together, we can get there, right? If we work together, we can get there. Let's create the path there together. That's what we're doing. So the way it works in our community is, no matter what you want, it can be something huge. It can be something little. It can be, I want to know what to cook for dinner tonight. Or maybe you're looking for something that is really deep and personal. And we'll go there today as well. So I have some desires from our community. And if at any time during our What If Wednesday broadcast, you have something that you want, you can post it in the comments. I love to see what you're working on. I love to hear your hashtag wins. So if you have been what if upping something in the community and good things are happening for you, put a hashtag win in your comment so that we can celebrate that and find all those wonderful moments as well. And of course, it's great to come into this place and have a space where you can ask for what you want. But you know what also is great? The other thing that's really great is having a place where you can come in and practice, because we don't always have leaders that inspire hope in us. We don't always have role models that can show us, how do we do this? How do we wrap our mind around this capacity to be not just a visionary leader, but to be someone that inspires hope in others? And not just like inspiring hope, like pie in the sky hope, but putting the vision out there that people can get hopeful about, and then being able to create the structure underneath that hope so that we can move from where we are in the direction of that thing that we want. And that's what we're about. That's what we're up to. That's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And what's really cool is that we're doing this together, right? It's not one person with all the answers. It's all of us supporting all of us. I heard the phrase this week, the communal brain. What if you could tap into the communal brain, and not just that artificial brain, which I have to tell you, I do love artificial intelligence. I love AI. It does a lot for me, but there is nothing that compares to what we can do with our community mind, the master mind, the communal brain. Why is it so much more powerful than AI? I love you, AI, but what's more powerful is what we can do together, because it's not just intelligence that we're bringing to each other. It's love, it's compassion, it's energy, it's connection. That's what we're bringing to each other in this particular format. And that gets me kind of jazzed up. Can you tell? It gets me jazzed up. Okay, so thank you to all of you who've been active in our community this week, either by sharing your desires or by sharing what ifs with each other. So I'll pop in there. I'll share my what if ups. I'm in there all the time, but don't let it just be me. The real value in this is being able to generate what ifs. Okay. And I'll segue that into a what if up tip of the week that I will share with you at the end. So let me do a couple samples, and would love to have your what ifs. Just pop in as I'm what if upping with our members with some of the things that I've seen in our community this week. And if you want to, type in something that you want to, and we'll what if up it. Okay. All right. So first one, and I mentioned to you, Carol in New York, I loved your post saying, I would like to have my new puppy suddenly understand the concept of housebroken. Who wouldn't, right? Well, that kind of ties into another post. This one comes from Kathy in Virginia. And Kathy says, This one was kind of urgent. It's like, okay, this is happening like tonight, please. What if up? So I do this once a week, but jump into the community and support each other because sometimes you can't wait till Wednesday, right? All right. So Kathy wrote, she said, we're going to babysit a large young dog for a few days starting tonight. And my house is not puppy proof. Okay, so that could be an issue. I love this dog, but I'm stressing a little on how we'll adjust things like shoes by the door and all things cat. So Kathy apparently is in the cat household. And she also went on to say that she was anticipating this being a fun thing for her to do with her daughters. So what if we got puppies everywhere in our community this week? What if those puppies are a source of joy? And what if, even when they have little accidents, what if we recognize how quick we are to forgive and to clean up the mess and to move on? And what if we create this space? Okay, so this one, maybe it's for both of you, Kathy and Carol. What if you design your home in a way where you limit access to certain rooms? What if it's just a matter of shutting the door to the spaces where you don't want the puppy to be? What if you have a crate for when you're away or when you're sleeping? And what if the dog actually feels more comfortable in that environment to sleep in? That way, what if you don't have to worry about what happens to your stuff? Because every time you're around that dog, you have your eyeballs on that dog. What if that dog has no interest whatsoever in the shoes by the door? What if you don't have to move some of those things? What if it's actually easier than you imagine? What if you let the dog know what is okay with your praise? And what if you say no when there is a boundary? And what if you get really good early on with these dogs and puppies and teaching them what they are allowed to do in your home and what they are not? And what if those things, those lessons that you teach, what if they stay with that dog to make them a lifelong part of the family? Or Kathy, in your case, what if it just makes for a really fun couple of days dog sitting and having some quality time with your daughter? So that's how we play the game. You share what you want, and we share what if possibilities. The idea is that they are intended to be uplifting. Sometimes you're going to hear an idea that's a what if up idea and somebody means it as a positive thing and you hear it as a not positive thing. That's okay. That's okay. You just say thank you and you move on to the next idea, right? Okay, so I'm going to throw in here my hot tip for what if upping, okay? So here is my hot tip for using the what if up process. And this is actually rule number 3. There are 7 rules for what if upping. Rule number 3 is be grateful. All right, so these are worth reviewing every now and then. Be grateful means that when someone shares an idea, a possibility with you, there are 2 ways to respond. One is just to take it in and notice how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel inspired to take action? Does it make you go away? Or is it kind of meh, notice how you feel about it. And that's all you have to do is just notice how you feel. And if you feel inspired to take action, then great, go do it. That's non-attachment. That's a whole nother thing. If you are one of those people that just wants to respond, feels that need to vocalize a response, that's okay too. The only thing you're allowed to say in our what if game is thank you. Because know that every what if that someone shares with you, they took the time to imagine a possibility for you. I mean, isn't that beautiful? For someone you may not even know, to take a moment and hear you, to hear what you want to create, to invest their creativity in coming up with a possibility to move you forward, and then to take the time to type it in and share it with you with nothing, no expectation for anything in return, just sharing it with you because they care about you as a human being who has wants and desires, and because it honestly feels really good to share an idea with someone that might help them take the next step, right? So that's what we get out of it. It feels really good to potentially share an idea that might move another human being forward on their life's journey. Doesn't that feel great? So when someone gives you that gift, the only natural response is thank you. And I share that because a lot of times we get so used to problem solving that instead of saying thank you, what we want to say is, oh, I've already tried that. And, maybe you have. And maybe it worked and maybe it didn't. And maybe you've thought about it before, maybe you haven't. But what happens when we respond to the idea by either saying, oh, that's not going to work, or I tried that, or whatever, when we start engaging in dialogue about the idea or judging the idea. When we do that, what it does is it stops the momentum of idea flow, right? So when you say, oh, I tried that, it's blocking the momentum of idea flow. So how do we ramp up the momentum of idea flow? Number one way to do it. Rule number 3 is be grateful. Say thank you. Say thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you for that idea. The more enthusiasm you have in your gratitude, whether you plan to use that idea or not, the more people will want to share ideas with you. So that's one tip. Gratitude is like the ultimate accelerator. Second tip is to engage in your own desires. So if you post something in the community, let's say I post a desire to have a fun activity with my daughter. So here's what I want. And someone posts a what if, and maybe it's like a home run, maybe it's not. But if you're kind of wanting more ideas to flow, a great thing to do is to jump in and share your own what if. Yes, it's your desire, but you can what if up yourself as well. And what that does is it sends a message to everybody that's like, ooh, now it's not just one person sharing an idea. And now it's not just me sitting back and saying, hey, what you got for me? You got some ideas for me? But you get to engage in your own possibilities. And what that does a lot of times is it lets other people see, it's like, oh, that's the direction that person wants to go. That's where their energy is. And sometimes that I found, sometimes that actually creates better ideas. It inspires better ideas because people know the direction that you're going with it. So be grateful, share your own what if possibilities, and watch the momentum continue to build. Isn't that cool? All right. I have one more from our community. And thank you so much for joining again and for sharing your what ifs. This one, I'm going to take a breath with this one because this one I feel, and I think a lot of people are feeling this right now. So I want to thank Kimberly in Wisconsin for sharing this, who says, simply, I want to feel happy. I want to feel happy. Actually feel happy. And I really wanted to share this with our community because I think a lot of people right now are struggling to find joy, are struggling to find happiness, are struggling to find hope. So let's create some possibilities. Let's create some what ifs. I've got some. Do you have some? I really want to challenge you to think about some what ifs that you could share. Not just for Kimberly, but for everyone who stands in those shoes, right? For everyone who's really struggling to find that feeling of happiness and joy. What if it's closer than you think, right? What if it's there with you now? It's just covered up with things that you could let go of. What if you think about the happiest moments of your life? What if you talk about them or share the story of it with someone? Or what if you go through your old photo albums and you remember moments when you were happy? And what if, as you surface those memories, what if those feelings of happiness come back to you? And what if you acknowledge and recognize them? And what if you acknowledge and recognize that you have the power to source those? You may not be able to change the things that are happening around you, but what if you knew that you did have the power through your mind, through your actions? You do have the power. What if you knew you do have the power to shift the way you feel about your life, about the world, about circumstances? And what if it's not about closing your eyes? And what if it's not about going into denial? What if it's choosing intentionally to find the good, to find the feel good space or the feeling as good as you can space with whatever is going on around you? I am very much looking forward to the ideas and possibilities that you share with Kimberly and with our community around how you could potentially feel happy in those moments when maybe happiness feels elusive. So with that, I want to thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for keeping it real, right? This is not toxic positivity that's like pretending that everything's rosy when it's not. It's not covering up emotions. It's going with what is, recognizing here's the now space I'm in, and using the power of our imagination, power of our wisdom, power of our hands and our feet to take action so that we can create a change. That's what we're here to do. So thank you for being part of that. I love you. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks for being part of this What If Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. See ya.